Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
How amazing would it be if you could practice because you want to, not because you have to? Learn how to improve your cash flow and increase your passive income now. Go to moneyripples.com or find their podcast, The Chris Miles Money Show, to learn more.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Josh Handt here for the Chiropractic Philanthropist podcast, and we have an amazing guest today. This is Dr. Tony Ebel. Dude, I'm pumped. We've been waiting for this show to happen for so long, so I'm psyched that you're here.
Yeah, dude, it's man, you gotta look inside my brain when you're trying to schedule something with me. Just squirrels flying all over that Google Calendar, man.
Exactly, that's so cool. So this show is really unique and a lot of fun, because we're really talking to our own tribe here. And the Chiropractic Philanthropist motto is that we are more alike than we are different. So ultimately, tell us a little bit about yourself, about you, Tony, the person, before we talk about Tony, the chiropractor.
All right, man. Yeah. Well, I definitely think, my upbringing is as close to the chiropractic heart and soul as you could get, being a farm kid, like super small town Iowa farm kid. And what I always feel like, put that into me, it's in my DNA. And then it's how my mom and dad formed me and everybody around me, is to just help others. Like, you literally wake up, it's going to sound so simple, brass taxes when I say it, but you just wake up every day and you work hard to help others, and you don't ever complicate it beyond that, and this helper mentality is just it just carries forward. It's such a great mentality to carry forward into a chiropractic practice. So yeah, that's me, man. I'm a simple Iowa farm kid who has then also God gave this ADHD, neurologically loving brain. And so I think over time, I found this sweet spot with my patients or chiropractors where I can take what's complicated and simplify the heck out of it. That's me. And then with being a farmer, family is everything. My wife and my kiddos and our life we live on a farm now, fake farm, not a real farm like I grew up. Just a money burning farm. They're my obsession, man. If you think I'm obsessed with chiropractic, me, the person, is so obsessed with my family and their happiness that that's really where the drum beats.
That's awesome. That is so cool. And I love hearing these types of stories. And I love that you keep it simple. Yeah. And I think that's, that mentality, that helper, that humanness is probably maybe at the core of all of chiropractic and practicing chiropractors that are out there. So tell us now, we know who you are. Tell us a little bit about, for those that don't know, like what you do, like what type of practice do you have? What do you do? What type of management style? What do you do?
Yeah, I've had a couple iterations. I've had the coolest chiropractic journey kind of coming through to chiropractic school and through. I actually worked as a CA and a tech CA in undergrad. Dr. Rick Elbert, first chiropractic mentor, and he was a Gonstead doc. And but he started to use he was one of the first adopters of the Insight technology. So I had such a cheat code because I ran scans for him. I mean, I took x-rays and did some of the other traditional chiro stuff too. So I only know chiropractic through a neurological lens. And then he was a world-class Gonstead doctor. So and he was like 6'3" and just this towering man. And I'm a little guy. So he also, I think, lovingly threatened me to learn how to adjust.
Else.
Yeah. So I had this ridiculously good foundation before school. And so he had a great practice in Ames, Iowa, take care of the full kind of family spectrum. So integrity management was his coach. He would take me to those seminars. Like, I was so blessed. And so I only knew that path coming through Palmer, through school. So Christina and I opened up our practice in 2007. I literally bought a building the month before real estate crashed. So anytime people today are like, it's bad out there, I'm like, oh, write me a letter, Larry. Let's go. So we opened with the name kind of, I think, tells some of our story. it's PWC is kind of what everybody knows our practice to be. And I bet 80% of people kind of that have come into the new world with me probably think the P somehow stands for pediatrics, because that's where we've been so clearly for 10 years. I was a wellness certified Palmer grad, and I was going to run a traditional help, athletes and adults get healthy chiropractic practice. Then my family came, our oldest daughter was born 2 weeks before I graduated. And so we shifted to prenatal pediatrics. So I went from pretty traditional management system, your systems and procedures and your lunch and learns and your screenings, and you kind of take everybody and you build it. I had $1 million insurance practice, burned it all of it down, like just full fire here, fire there, took it all the way down to the ground, rebuilt it back up in the way that turns out is kind of the way I was supposed to be the whole time. Just subluxation, neurologically obsessed. Pediatrics, we start with pediatrics. Like, we don't do traditional chiro and then hope to get the kids in. We have 90% of our new patients coming from our marketing and branding are kids first.
Very cool.
The internal referrals are their family. It's actually a zillion. It's way harder in a great way. You got to earn much bigger trust. You got to be a much better brander and marketer to get a child in first. But then it's easy on the inside because mom and dad are like, y'all did that for my kid? I'll take 2.
Yeah. No, that's so true. That's so true. Yeah. Usually, like, I guess most practices would go the other direction, all right, wow, I'm bringing my kids in versus the kids refer the parents, which is the coolest thing.
We think we're going to crush that Tuesday night, Thursday night workshop. I did that, full-fledged effort for 3 years, and it worked. It has a degree of success to it, but I never felt like I had a pediatric practice. It was like, family is kind of this misguided. We put family in our name, and if we look under the hood of a bunch of them, not a lot of kids make their way into it. And so we just found out that the kind of cheat code is right in front of us. So that's our model now. To make a long story short, we 65% pediatrics, the perfect storm. Autism, seizures, tough cases is really my specialty within the specialty. And then just this kick-ass family wellness practice. It's all cash, 6 doctors, 14 CAs. I mean, it can run without me. It does run without me. And I just get to go in there and take care of those tough patients these days. It's a blast, man.
That's really, really cool. I mean, you got to have a heart of gold and the patience of a saint. I've had personally, practicing, we don't have, we'll say what we call pediatric practice. We take care of kids from time to time. Just the way it is.
Yes, sir.
But we've had, our small cases of autism, and oh my God, I mean, I can imagine like running a full practice with these hard ass cases.
Yes.
But it's so gratifying to see, the light turn on in kids' eyes. I mean, you see it, every single day, but seeing that light turn, and then the parents glow at the same time.
It's the coolest shadow experience, another part. So because I had such a great intern, I had my undergrad experience with Dr. Albert. I had the best internship ever with this guy named Dr. Cody, who was just a powerful mentor to me. So I can't, back to Farmer, I can't wait to get back to students. So we do. So we have interns, we have students shadowing all the time. What made me think of that is our practice with the perfect storm, pediatrics, babies. We've had over 100 new patient infants this year alone already. So there's crying babies, you got to get them uncrying. When you get them unsubluxated. For students to shadow us, Josh, it is the most all in or all out experience ever. Some of them, I'll have fun with it because it's me and you. Some of them, I think, wet their pants, being in there. And I'm glad that they come, even if the answer is, okay, this isn't all the way for me. Because we all got to be in the kind of practice that God crafted and curated for us.
Yeah.
But you hang out at PWC for a day, whether you want to see kids or not.
Yeah. Well, so I'm right in that, like, it's like you're either all in or you're all out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's no halfway mark in that world.
How would Seth Godin, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Tim Ferriss create a chiropractic practice? The answer is The Payday Practice, a new book by Dr. Jeff Langmaid and Dr. Jason Deitch. The Payday Practice is the perfect solution for any chiropractic practice looking to generate monthly recurring revenue. This book provides a step-by-step process that is easy to follow and guaranteed to get results. Get your free copy today at thepaydaypractice.com. Don't wait, this offer won't last forever. The Payday Practice, recurring practice revenue the easy way. Head over to thepaydaypractice.com for your free copy now.
So that's very, very cool. So let's do a little pivot. Let's do a little shift here. So we love quotes. We love success quotes. So what I want you to do is maybe either give us an original or one of your favorite quotes that keeps you going.
You know what? I guess I feel like it's just a modified version. I don't think I'll ever have an original, technically, right? I think all of us are modified versions of those that taught us to mentor us. One that maybe is pretty in that original space is that my team would laugh that I say this because it's how we run our business, is run our mission. The only way to know is to go. That serves me so well in business. Our meetings are efficient. Our plannings are efficient because our execution is haul ass always. Like, we just don't spend any time, emotional bandwidth of like, I wonder if we come up with an idea and turn it to execution and implementation as fast as anybody I've ever come across. And then you know whether your idea was really damn good or really stupid.
Well, yeah. Well, quick to success or quick to failure, so you can relearn and do it a different way, right?
Speed, man, you'll love this. We grew up in the Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson era, right? And so, like, just speed kill. It's still today in sports, speed kills, right? Like, meaning kills it, and you have a huge impact with it.
Yeah,
and so
for sure,
we've learned how to systemize that. And I think that quote, that quote really directs my team. If they come up to me with something and I can tell they're kind of like meandering in the decision, I'm like, why are you waiting? No hesitation inside here. You make the mistake, fantastic. We will honor that mistake because now we have clarity and move on. Never worry about it again.
So that's awesome. I love how you apply that right into practice, into business. How do you apply that in life? You know, you said family, you have a family, right? So, and a farm, a fake farm, or
just rebuild the barn. No kidding. I do teach it to my kids in a big way. I guess I could probably apply it more to the family. It's like, hey, are you gonna like this sport? Are you gonna like this class? Are you gonna like this friend? You know, is this gonna be the direction you want to go? Don't sit around and wait and wonder. Go towards it with everything you've got. There is, again, I don't use this word with the kiddos yet necessarily, but it's another core. We don't half-ass anything. You know, your whole ass. And I have 2 donkeys, everyone. So I feel like I can use the word ass more.
I heard they're quite a challenge as well.
Dude, if you can handle a donkey, you can handle a pediatric practice. Maybe, oh my gosh. Yeah.
The new book. I think that's your new book that's coming out, right?
It totally is. Yeah, we bring it to the kids and we're like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? You're good. You're not going to have any judgment from us, or, you know, and we're certainly going to train you to not judge yourself. You know, you're going to you're in charge of the results, but don't sit around and wonder about them. Just go do them. Very
cool. All right. So this has been an awesome journey already. I feel like we could like call it quits and then have a million great things to talk about afterwards. So we'll shift into something a little different now. You know, you've had some great success. You mentioned burning a practice to the ground to rebuild it. And I always like to talk about struggle, right? Okay. Because, you know, in our struggles, we learn stuff and we can pay it forward to our community as chiropractors or family. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing like maybe either one personal or business struggle that has helped you evolve as a person or practice.
I bet I can double tap on them. You know, I don't really separate like our practice. We're so in love with it. It is our life. It is our personal and everything too. And we've had 2 struggles with our kiddos. I think a lot of chiropractors know Oliver. You know, I was already had gone full pot committed to pediatric chiropractic, had already done the Perfect Storm workshop a few times, which is where I put together this real understanding that subluxation, that gluten is not near as bad as subluxation. That birth trauma is the biggest instigator of why kids are sick, and people don't know about it. And then Oliver had that severely. That's the story of kind of my daughter as well. In the last couple of years, I mean, she is kicking butt and taking names because chiropractic kids don't avoid struggle. They overcome struggle. They adapt to struggle. They're more resilient and ready to, you can't avoid the suck, right? Mm-hmm. It sucks and then some, but do you stay stuck in that? And they haven't. So my kids' health haven't stayed stuck in that. They've overcome and they're doing great. And then the practice, I felt stuck for a couple of years in a weird way, probably from maybe where others get stuck, because I had that $1 million practice and we had associates and CAs and a big life and everything. And it was just kind of like, this ain't it. But I didn't have clarity. And I'm not even talking about the money. People are like, oh, it's not money. No. I mean, like this model of practice.
Mhm.
Like, could you really go backwards to go forward? Who does that? And I had no direction. Clinically, even though I was pediatric certified, the program I took taught me to go in like 17 different directions. And I really just wanted one. And so I had like 3, 4, 5 years of like clinical adjusting protocols, care plan systems and building, where I was literally just figuring shit out on my own. And I don't think now it looks like, I don't think anybody thinks I'm polished, buddy. That's probably not the right word for me. But like the stuff looks pretty, it is very buttoned up and systemized. There's a mess in the middle, just trying, and that phrase before, just trying to get better. And eventually we woke up one day and we're like, dang, we got this dialed in. Kids are experiencing miracles. Let's go teach this to other chiropractors.
So that was that struggle had helped transition or transform, maybe is a better word.
Yeah.
You to be able to teach what you've learned in that struggle to other docs.
Yeah,
right?
because I would have paid $1 million a month for a freaking blueprint that didn't exist, 10 years ago for me. Like there was family practices, there was pediatric practices, but again, like we talked about before, for somebody to go all in with autism and seizures and cerebral palsy and do this, if the listener is like, well, I know of practices that have kind of done that over the last 10 to 20 years and keep it chiropractic, make it chiropractic only. I was trained in like nutritional detox, primitive reflex, blah, 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 blah. And it was all under this chiropractic umbrella. And I was like, that ain't me. I didn't go to school for 8 years to tell some people that mac and cheese sucks. They can Google that. They don't know about subluxation. I had to clear out my noise to clear out their noise. And there was no practice model that had done that yet. So that you nailed it, Josh. That's our obsession with giving that model to startups and new docs. Like, y'all don't screw it up like we did. We paid that ignorance tax. We can tell it to you, not with like, hey, we think that would be a bad idea. Like, no, I did that and it was dumb. Don't do it.
Very cool. Very cool. That's an amazing journey. Now, I'll tell you, my first time, I think maybe meeting you, I don't know, you probably don't remember this, was CalJam, I think 10 years ago. I don't know how it was, maybe like the second or third CalJam. I think you spoke on stage and you had this kind of funky, cool slideshow that was like moving around. I remember it pretty vividly.
Crazy. Yeah. That's right.
And I'm like, oh, this guy's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it was like, that was my first experience. I'm like, oh, all right. And you've come full circle. It's some pretty amazing journey you've been on. So, I give you a little applaud ahead of schedule here because I think it's darned awesome.
No, none of that needs to come out. You know what? God has cleared the path for us and, whispers to us when he needs to, nudges us, smacks me in the face when he needs to, which is probably a better method for my ADHD.
The sledgehammer.
Yeah. And then my wife and team too. I'm probably the guy on social more often, but there is such an engine behind our purpose and they definitely get the credit.
Yeah. So let's just, we went through the struggle. Let's just shift on like, what's amazing now? Like what are you looking forward to? Like maybe in the near future coming up?
Oh, that's an easy.
Besides that cool book we just spoke about, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
The donkey chiropractic, pediatric chiropractic.
Yeah. The donkey, the asp. Okay. We gotta narrow that name down a little bit, but we'll get to it. Man, what's cool now, and this is like, if you just hear the surface level of what I'm about to say, listeners, you'll miss it because you kind of heard it before, and I don't think it had the actual substance to it. In years past, we have an absolute ridiculous golden opportunity, especially in pediatric and prenatal practice, which comes together and creates a family practice, to take over the pediatrician and the medical model. It is here now. It was already brewing. Right now, as we're recording this, everybody's talking about the great resignation in the workforce. People are leaving their job. Apply the term, the great resignation, to healthcare. They have already had a significant level of distrust in the medical system. And it starts through life, right? The indoctrination into that system starts as an infant with your kids and pediatricians. So they are the most kind of planted and egotistical and archaic and outdated. And so we are going to use a strategic marketing plan that is coming after our training plan. So we're almost to 1,000 members in the pediatric experience. When we finish the year, we'll have almost 500 of them have gone through our clinical cert program, meaning they know what to do when a kid gets in their hands. I had to do that first. I had to go into the training world before I went into the world of parents with marketing and get them into offices. And so where all this comes together, we have a strategic plan through our platform called PX Docs, which is public facing. I can train each doc who wants to be a pediatric practice to blow up their local effect. It's just not enough for me right now, given that parents, again, post-COVID, they're even more done. They moved that overreaction, moved millions more towards us. So they are ready for us. We have just had our occiput lodged on the anterior portion of our sacrum. Right?
And so I hear what you're saying.
It's true. And so we're taking care of that. And so the thing I'm most excited about, we were joking about it before we turn on. I just built an entire new video and content studio. And it's not just for my practice, and it's not just for PX to reach more chiropractors. This thing, an entire massive team of marketers, writers, video producers, video editors, social media content creators. We've invested multiple of tens of thousands per month to take our message to the world, because I'll put the bow on it here. In 3 to 5 years, if you really study people that have made movements, Dr. Josh Axe with bone broth and collagen, nobody knew what those things were 7 years ago. They educated the world through content and then brought the product along in the tail, right? Our product kicks ass more than any other product out there. We have just lacked the education through empathy and authority. So in 3 to 5 years, the pediatricians are going to wake up and their utilization rate is going to have dwindled up and ours is going to have exploded. And they're going to be like, what happened? What? Because they don't market. They're not on the internet. They don't do podcasts. They don't do what we do, brother, because they think they don't have to. Nor did Blockbuster, right? You have all the examples. Yeah. People have been replaced before by being comfortable with how it worked before, until somebody comes around and disrupts and through effort, not through an idea, but an actual execution on the idea. So sorry, that was a long answer, but it's flat out a strategic plan that we are now begun with. And it's the website, it's the socials, it's podcasts, we'll write books, and we're going to take over the internet directly to parents over the next 5 to 10 years and move them into PX offices everywhere.
That's so cool. I mean, you couldn't have said it better. Like that Josh, I went to school with Josh.
Right.
So like his story is quite amazing, and it's no different in the direction you're going in. But your product is chiropractic, right? Like it's so cool. And I think that you hit the nail on the head when you said, these pediatricians are not marketing. They're not doing anything. They just have, they're like little, like part of my New York, like these jab machines, unfortunately, that parents are just used to bringing their kids in. Once that paradigm shift has happened, and it's already, we know, like you just said, these past 2 years have pushed a lot of people into the natural health world, and they're like, I just want someone I can trust.
Dude,
and if you get results at the same time, holy moly, right?
Most of us in the last couple of years, understandably so, because it sucked, because it was as against our philosophy and our practice as it can get. The BS they tried to push down. Again, you're in New York, New York, Illinois. We lived it in a huge degree, but I have such a strategic brain and an execution based brain. I don't spend a hot second in emotions. As I was watching it, I was like, okay, well, this sucks now, but they're going to pay for this. This is actually strategically working in our favor long term, because they already had very little trust, and people were already leaving by the millions with their kids. And I'm talking about a specific generational shift, right? This is our generation of parents, and the next ones, they're not as beholden to the pediatrician and the medical machine, and they're much more apt to go online and get their information there, find their doctor, find their product, find their place. So when we go there and they're not there,
exactly. Very, very cool. Yeah. So I want to come into this next section, which we call the time machine, right? The TCP time machine. So, I mean, you may have answered this one way or another, but we want to get some specific answers here. So if we took this time machine, brought you back to just starting practice, right? Your first day as a practicing chiropractor, with all of your current knowledge and life experience, all these different things, what would you tell that self, that new DC self?
Yeah, start with kids. don't wait for the kids. Like literally shift all of your marketing, 100% of your marketing to pediatrics, and then have the parents come along. That subtle kind of like right in front of us shift changed everything with our practice. I would definitely scream that in my face and be like, no, really, this will work. I know everybody else says do it that way. Do it this way. It'll work.
Very cool. All right. So we have 3 final questions.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. Then we'll wrap things up. So they're going to be like rapid fire. So get ready. Here we go.
Okay, dude.
They're not hard. Don't worry. No quizzing here. Right? So who was the greatest influence on the person who you are today?
Yeah, Dr. Mike Cody, because all the marketing and training and everything I have, if I hadn't learned how to slay a subluxation just by looking at it wrong, right? Whatever right way to say that is. He was just a clinical Jedi master, and he held me to that line in the sand. So he starts it. He's the most influential for it.
Cool. Okay. What is the best advice you have ever received?
I would say best advice I've ever received from my father. Just how you treat anybody is how you treat everybody, and that's a reflection on you more than anything else.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. One last question here. What's the most invaluable resource, whether it's a book, a podcast, or something else that you cannot live without?
Gosh, Fletcher's going to be so happy with me right away. Maybe because I have an awesome webinar with him and Kowalski after this. But I can. We're using this to educate the masses with that whole strategic plan I just used before. The technology, the Insight Subluxation Station and the Insight Scan Tech is everything clinically, and it's literally how I see chiropractic. It's how I deliver chiropractic. It's how chiropractic is meant to be, because it's in the nervous system in living color, not in black and white on bones.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, everybody. This has been an amazing show, Dr. Tony Ebel. So I want to let everybody know you can head down to the show notes, go to the chiropracticphilanthropist.com to get all the details. We'll have all Tony's links and connections there so you can find him. And I've truly enjoyed spending this time with you. You know, it's been, I feel like almost a decade. I know since I've had a conversation with you like this is great. And before we close, what is the best place for people to find you?
Yeah, you know what? We're really, really shifting just action for chiropractors, especially onto Instagram. So either mine or my personal. So Dr. T, DRT dot PX Kid Chiro, we'll get it in the show notes, all of us on Instagram. And then if you want to kind of get a little deeper and really get some help from me, we have a Facebook group called Pediatric Chiropractic Today. And I've had that thing going for 3 years, and I stay in it. I mean, my team helps, but I'm in there every single day, just helping and giving and supporting and researching. Cool. So Facebook group. Okay, awesome. Well, everybody, the links will be in the show notes, and go to the chiropracticphilanthropist.com to get all those details. And Tony Ebel, dude, thank you so much. Thank you for giving back to the profession today. I appreciate it. And I know everybody listening will as well. Thanks, brother. Thank you, brother, man.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to the chiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Chiropractic Philanthropist.